So we are recording now. And welcome to all of you who joined us for our live session today. Welcome to the Daring to Learn webinar series. If this is your first time with us, the Daring to Learn Value Added Webinar Series is a recurring monthly webinar that the Center for Profitable Agriculture puts out on the second Tuesday of every month. Our topics change, and we usually have about an hour together during the live sessions. So today I will actually be presenting to you guys. Um, my name is Alaina Boyd. I am an extension assistant in the center, so all of your emails and reminders about the webinar series all come from me. So you may recognize me from there. But looks like we got everybody in that was looking to join us this morning. So I will go ahead and kick us off. Today we're going to be talking about Canva and using the Canva Creative Suite for some basic graphic design. And I won't talk too much about myself, but just as a reminder, I am with the Center for Profitable Agriculture. Um, I am an extension assistant there, focusing in value added agriculture marketing. My background is in communication and information and kind of in this digital marketing space. So I'm excited to get to walk you guys through using Canva today and talking about some of those things. And moving right along, just as a reminder, anything we talk about in this session today is all strictly for informational purposes. So any programs or any folks that we mention in this presentation, it's all just for educational purposes and does not count as an endorsement from the center. And just as kind of an overview of the things that we're going to talk about in this session today, so we will introduce Canva um, to you all and kind of answer that question of what is Canva. We'll move through the basic elements of the Canva editor, and then I'll have some additional information about some recent Canva updates, and we'll have time for questions. And I did not mention this at the beginning of the session, but if you guys have questions throughout the session, feel free to stop me. You can use the chat box. I made sure to turn that feature on for you guys. So you can send a question in the chat at any time. There's also, I think, a raise hand feature or a question and answer option. So if I'm going too fast or if you need some clarification on something, feel free to let me know as we move forward. And kind of our goals for this presentation this morning include introducing Canva as a user-friendly design tool. We'll familiarize ourselves with what Canva is capable of and also move through that content editor. So finally, I want to answer what exactly is Canva. Some of you may be familiar with the program. You may have used it in the past. I know it's changed quite a bit in the last couple years. So Canva is kind of an all-in-one design tool. It has both an app and a website, but it's their Canva's kind of goal is to help empower its users to design, whether that's social media images or newsletters or whatever you use Canva for. We'll see that you can use it for lots of different things throughout this session, but this is a screenshot from the Canva website on kind of their about page. And we'll talk a little bit more about some of those specifics as we move ahead. So, how exactly can you use Canva? As I mentioned, there is a website option. There's a desktop kind of a browser editor, if you will, that you can access by actually going to canva.com. Then there's also a app for smartphones. So if you have, an iPhone, you can use the Canva app on your phone. And there's also an app for tablets, both Android and iPads. But I do want to mention, even though you can use Canva on your phone and on an iPad or a tablet, you lose some of those features or the functionality that Canva offers on a computer. So if you're looking to maybe utilize all those features, I would recommend using Canva on the computer if you could. Next, we'll kind of talk a little bit about the pricing for Canva. I feel like I get asked every so often, well, don't you have to pay for that? Well, not necessarily. So Canva has a variety of different plans at different price points, depending on what you need to do. So there is a free version, that Canva free. There's no cost at all to use that, but there are lots of other features that you won't have access to unless you pay for that subscription. Um, this Canva Pro option here, um, it's $120 a year. I think that actually shakes out to it's around $15 a month or so. And you'll notice the difference between free items in Canva or the free version versus a paid version by this little crown. So, and we'll touch on that again later, but anything with this little crown on it, that means that that is a premium or kind of a pro feature that you would need to have access to one of those plans to use. And this slide goes into a little bit more detail on the features in all those Canva plans. So again, you can see with this Canva free version, you'll always have access to that drag and drop editor. The free version has a million plus templates, over 1,000 different types of post types or design types that you can choose from, as well as stock photos and graphics. And then you've got, of course, 5 GB of cloud storage. And then you'll see as you move forward in these different tiers of paid options, you get access to more features. But that's not to say that you need to necessarily pay for that at all. The free version may be just enough for your needs. Um, so don't feel like you have to necessarily use that pro feature because there are lots of things that you can still do in that free Canva without ever having to pay for that subscription. And one other thing I'll mention on this slide, maybe you have someone in the farm business, or you've got a social media person, or maybe someone that works seasonally on the farm that does uh, some of those graphic type things for you. There is this option for Canva Teams, which is kind of neat. And you can add multiple people to that paid subscription. So that way, if you have more than one person that needs to be working in Canva, you can give those people access to that subscription. And also, there is a Canva for Education option, and I don't think I have a slide on that in this slide set. But if you are associated with a school group of any kind, maybe you're a school teacher, maybe you, like me, you're in extension or associated with higher education in some way, you can get access to that Canva for Education option. And so a lot of those premium or pro features would be available to you for free just because you are considered an educator. So there's some strings attached to that. I think you have to maybe have to verify and use your school email address. So um, you wouldn't be able to utilize that if you weren't an educator, but that is an option that I don't have listed on this slide. So now that we've kind of touched on what Canva is and some of those different features or plan types, I want to move along into showing you guys opening Canva for the first time and working in some of those design tools. And bear with me if we have time later towards the end of this session. I will continue to screen share and show you guys outside of PowerPoint slides some of these features. This is an adapted presentation from an in-person workshop that the center recently did. So this is our first time trying this digitally, and so we're going to do the best we can with screenshots, and we'll always have time for questions. And if I can show you guys more, we'll be able to do that as we move forward. But as far as opening Canva for the very first time, if you go to canva.com and you're not signed in or you've not made an account yet, your page should look something like this. Now, keep in mind, Canva, like lots of websites or similar, social media sites, that's not to say that Canva's social media, but like other sites on the internet, it changes often. So just because this background looks this way, don't be alarmed if you get to this landing page and some things look different back behind. Um, the big takeaway is that you should see this little white box with different options to log in or sign up. And you can sign up either with a Google account, you can connect it to your Facebook account, or you can do the tried and true method of creating a password and using an email to sign in. And once you move through that step and move forward in the sign up process, you should see some questions similar to this. Canva will try to kind of assess and figure out your needs for the platform. So they will ask what you will be using Canva for. And of course, there are several different options. For the purposes of most of our folks, and I think most of our viewers that are on today, you guys would fall into that small business category. So I highlighted this here with a green arrow. This doesn't change anything if you choose that, and I think you have the option to go back in later and change those preferences. So maybe you mark that you're a student now or a teacher now and need to change that later. It's not the end of the world if you um, choose one answer and then it changes later. This will just kind of help Canva anticipate which templates to show you once you get into the editor and start using some of those other tools. And once you get signed in and move through those initial questions, you should, for the very first time, see this homepage or landing page. So notice we've got lots of options here, but this portion of the screen here is blank. And we will see later what this looks like once you start creating designs. But for the very, very first time, your screen should look something like this. And notice I mentioned earlier, it changes all the time, like with other websites on the internet. This banner here, right up above this toolbar, this changes every so often. So at the time when I took this screenshot, they were about to launch a brand new update towards the end of October, and they were advertising that at the time. If you were to log in today, or maybe create an account for the first time today, this will be different. So again, just keep that in mind as we move forward. Um, and touching back on the differences between the free and the pro plan, you'll notice I've got an option here on the left side of the screen to try pro for 30 days, and you'll see those little crowns that I talked about on some of these options. And this brand toolkit button, that's also one of those pro features. So those should be relatively easy to identify as you move through the platform. All right. And so as you continue to use Canva over time, your homepage will grow and eventually it might look something like this. So this here in the middle is a screenshot from my Canva account. And you might recognize some of these slides. We use these for Daring to Learn. Um, I made all those in Canva. I'm actually presenting this presentation in Canva right now to you guys. So that's why you see some of the little cursor and some other things moving around on the screen. I'm not presenting from a traditional PowerPoint. So over time, your homepage will change and grow. And as you add designs to it, it will look something like this. And you'll see on this left side of the screen here, we've got our create a design button. There's a couple different options here, but adding designs to your account or starting a new design is just as simple as clicking on this purple create a design button. And our next slide here touches on premium features. Again, we talked about this already. I had forgotten that we had thrown this slide in here. Um, Now, I did mention that Canva for Education earlier. Notice there are some features and elements that are only associated with Canva for Education, and those will have this little graduation cap icon next to them, as opposed to maybe that crown. So kind of keep those in mind. Um, Really good rule of thumb is if it's got any kind of an icon next to it, it's probably not a free element or a free item to use. So now we'll talk a little bit now about the actual editing tools. Um, this first one here that we'll touch on is what Canva refers to as the side menu in the Canva editor. So this screenshot here is from the left-hand side of your Canva um, editor when you get into that website. So all these buttons will be along the left-hand side of the screen. And you'll see we've got, of course, our home button here. That'll take us back to our home page. There's a projects option that will take you to all of the projects or the designs that you've made because the homepage is a little bit different. The homepage only shows so many. So your projects takes you to everything you've created, as well as anything that's maybe been shared with you by other users. You can also access all of the templates that Canva has available to you directly from this left hand side menu with this option here. Um, there's a brand kit option. That's one of those premium or pro features. Then there's also apps. I personally don't spend a lot of time in this app section. There are some outside sites or other apps that I've connected. I know you can post directly to social media from inside Canva, that kind of thing. So you would find any of those options there. And then this classwork option, that's a Canva for Education feature. So I have that on my profile because I'm using a Canva for Education account. So not all of you may see this, and that's okay. It'll just depend on which account type you're using. And then, of course, immediately to the right of that left side menu, we've got our Create a Design button. There's an option to join a school team. Um, and again, that's a Canva for Education thing. This starred section, you'll see where I have your starred here. Um, you can star or favorite specific folders or designs, so they're a little bit easier to get back to. Maybe you have a design that you update frequently, or you add several different versions to. One way to get back to that relatively quickly is to star that. And then all you would need to do when you're looking at this left-hand side of the screen is just click into that and it'll um, take you straight to that design. And I've mentioned, I think several times already in this presentation, Canva changes a lot. It's always changing and growing. So don't be alarmed if this looks a little different for you, or if it looks one way today and maybe in a couple weeks it looks different. They're always doing things to make the editor better um, for its users. So next we've got our top menu. You may recall noticing this when we kind of looked at that first um, screenshot of the blank homepage. So this section here is what you'll see up above um, your designs on the homepage. We've got a search bar up top. You can search. This searches both your content and Canvas, so sometimes that might be a little confusing because if you search for newsletter, um, newsletters that you've created will come up, and then there will also be options for Canva templates that all come up kind of in that same window. Um, and they mark those. You'll see there'll be a template section and then your projects, but um, just be mindful that that searches everything. And then we have all of our buttons to choose from. And I know depending on the different design type or template type that I've used most frequently, my buttons change from time to time in this top menu. But we've got, you can tell, several different options. There's even a custom size that you can choose from. And then any additional options that you can't see here fall under that more section with the three dots on the very end. So that's the top menu. And then you'll see it all come together again here um, on this screenshot of the home page. So our top menu up top, and then our side menu over to the left-hand side. This slide here is pointing over to the how to get back to your recent designs on the homepage. So if you're anywhere else inside the Canva editor, if you just click over to this little house shape or the home shape, it'll take you back here, and your page should look something like this. All right. So say you want to start from scratch and you're ready to open a blank design. If you will click that purple Create a Design button that we looked at earlier, a window should pop up that looks something like this with the option to create a design. And notice there's a For You, kind of a suggested section of templates. I have highlighted here social media templates. Because we'll be talking mostly about social media templates today. So notice that's highlighted with this purple. And then I have all these options over to the right of this pop-up window of things to pick from. Um, Whether that's just a traditional Instagram post, there's an option for Facebook, Instagram story. You kind of get the idea. Lots of options to choose from when you look at those templates. And this next slide here is just a example of a blank design. So once you pick your template, I chose an Instagram post for this one. You'll notice You can see that here. I had not named this design when I took this screenshot, so it will pop up. Usually with a generic title that says untitled design dash whatever template you chose. So I chose, this is an Instagram post. Notice it says Instagram post. Um, and you've got lots of options um, inside the editor once you get to this point. Then again, we've got our more options down the left-hand side. Um, and then there's options to share if you get ready to share. We'll touch a little bit more on that later, but that's a blank design. Um, we touched a little bit about social media templates already, but this slide is looking actually at how you open templates from that leftmost side menu. So notice our arrow here. We have clicked onto that templates button, and then in this drop down that comes up in this section, I've chosen social media. Canva is pretty fond of the color purple. So a good rule of thumb to remember is if anything is purple highlighted or it's got a purple box around it, that means that you have selected that or chosen that feature. So notice we've picked social media and then I have all these options to choose from. Um, this magic design is a little new. Canva's leaning into AI. Um, that was part of that recent October drop or content change. Um, so lots and lots of options to choose from inside that templates tab. So once you choose your template, you got your blank design open, you've chosen your template, and you're ready to start adding in elements to that page. Um, inside your design window or that editor window, we have this left side menu, which is different from our side menu on the home page. Um, so this menu is actually inside that editor. Notice I have chosen elements here. So say I want to add a square to my image. Um, I'll choose elements and you can either search directly, so you could type in square in the search box. There's also a shapes drop down that comes up here. So there are preformed shapes that Canva has available that you can click on and add from there. And of course, you can see it's suggesting several different options for me. So there's an option for an arrow, a frame. You kind of get the idea. There are lots and lots and lots of element options to pick from. You can really get lost trying to pick what you're looking for. So you can spend a lot of time in that elements tab. All right, so we've added our square to our design. And I know this may be difficult for you guys to see just because we're using screenshots, but um, we're pretending that we've got our design up and we picked out our square, and now we're ready to change the color from whatever default color Canva has chosen. It's usually black or depending on your settings, something like that. So the way you would do that is you would click on your element. Notice I mentioned they like to tell you if you've picked something because of a purple highlight or a purple outline. Our square here is selected because we've got a purple outline around it. And when you click on your element, there should be another window that comes up to the top of that element. And I know this has cut part of it off, but it should look something like this. Big takeaway with changing the color of something, you'll want to click on this little circle and see it. It tells you here color. When you click onto this section, um, you'll get another drop down that looks something like this. And you'll have several different color options to pick from, um, depending on if you have any other elements on your slide, or your design, or if you've maybe added pictures. It will try to pull colors from other things on the screen. And you'll notice this says document colors here. So it will give you kind of options to choose from. Um, of course, I had, several different green things and the purple for Canva on here. So it kind of guessed to show me what I thought I might want to see. And you just pick whichever color you want to go with, and it will change the element that you have selected. If you want to change the size of an element that you've added, if you click onto it, again, you'll have that purple outline. You should see either 4 circles at the end. With this being a square, you'd see those little circles. For some irregular shaped elements, you may not have that every time, but you should have these little pills, what we have been calling little pill icons. Um, you can pull up or down, or drag on any corner to make that longer, make it wider, smaller, shorter. You are not limited in how you want to change the size of that element, especially on the desktop. Now I do have an iPad, and I have had success in trying to do this with maybe the touch screen or an Apple Pencil, but I think it is definitely easiest, at least to me, to change some of these things and fine tune on a computer. But if you're an avid tablet user, you may have better luck, or it may be more suited for you using that tablet. But that's how you change the size of your elements. So say we've changed the size of our square, we've changed the color. Maybe you want to rotate it. Um, you can actually click this little icon here that's got the arrows forming kind of a circle, the 2 arrows chasing each other. If once you select that, you can rotate your element all the way around. It'll go a complete 360 degrees. Um, you can rotate that to wherever you see fit. And it will also give you an option. There'll be a little kind of degrees, little, it's not necessarily, comes up in like a pop-up bubble almost underneath this circle icon. So say I rotated this 180 degrees, or I wanted it to be 180 degrees, you'll see a little bubble that it'll count all the way up to 180, or backwards. So if I wanted to rotate it the other direction, then it would have um, a, a negative 180 when you rotate that, because it's going in the opposite direction. So, and some of these things I think may be hard to see until you do it, but just for now, we'll go through the nuts and bolts of where things are. Um, Say that you're to the point that you want to resize your design. Maybe you chose an Instagram post and you want to make an Instagram story instead, or you wanted to say you really, really liked a design that you made for an Instagram post and you wanted to turn that into maybe a printed banner or a business card. Um, you can choose the resize option up at the top. So this is going to be up along this blue bar here at the top of your editing window. So you choose resize and you'll see these drop down options come along. Canva will try to suggest to you maybe what size you want to resize it to. So if you resize to one particular design or a template frequently, it may pull that up for you. You can change to a custom size, but then there are categories of options that maybe make this a little bit easier to pick from. So say you picked social media, it'll give you these options for Instagram, but you can also, search in the search bar for other options. Um, and you'll notice here on the left side of the screen, there are two different options. You have this first one to copy and resize, and this second option to simply resize. If you say you made a social media image, an Instagram post, um, or something to be posted to Instagram, if you just choose resize and say before that might have been um, to the dimensions of a Facebook banner or Facebook cover photo, if you strictly resize it, then Canva will try to shrink that down or expand it if you choose a larger size to fit the new dimensions. So your design will not necessarily stay the same. Um, there are ways so you can undo that and revert back to other options, but the safest thing to do in that situation, if you don't want to just completely resize and lose what you had, is to make a copy and then resize to your selected template. If you do that, if you copy and then resize, it will make a copy of the design that you're working in and then resize it to the dimensions that you want it to work with. So just something to keep in mind. If you want to add text to a page, in that left-hand editor toolbar, you'll choose the text option. You'll see something like this come up with several options to choose from. You can search for fonts. You can search for ways to kind of make that font italic or something like that. If you'll choose this purple add text box, then Canva will place a blank box of text that always says your paragraph text um, somewhere on your design in that canvas. And then notice you have this option here. If you click into that search bar to search for fonts and combinations, it'll show you all the things that you recently searched for. So that's pretty helpful. I know for me that's helpful because I use this so often, and there are specific fonts that maybe I'm trying to go back and find. Um, this section here under that add a text box option, this relates back to that brand kit feature that we talked about earlier. So if you are a premium Canva user, or if you have a Canva for Education account and you start to add brand kits to your profile, then this will show up underneath there and it will show you the different fonts that you've designated associated with that brand. So that's why I've got that there. And really quickly, we'll touch on formatting text boxes. Again, same thing with the resizing our square that we looked at or resizing our shape. You'll see we've got our little pills and the four dots on the corner. You can you can make that smaller, make it bigger, whatever you need to do using those options. And the longer the text box, the more words that you can put into that space without it breaking down into a second paragraph line. This screenshot here, this will come up once you have selected a text box. So notice I've got my text box highlighted, it's purple. Then we've got this bar here, toolbar, that will come up either above or below, somewhere around that text box. inside the editing window. Um, so I've got my font here, chosen as Gotham. Um, if you click on this, it'll bring down a drop-down menu. You can change the font from there. You can change your size, make it bigger or smaller. If you want to change the color of your text, this A here, where it's got an A and a little black line under it, that black line is there because my text is set to the color black. So if I was typing purple words, then that little bar underneath the A would be purple. That's just an indicator of the color of font that you're using at that time. And you got all these other options that you can play with. So um, several different options to format your text boxes there. And resizing and moving your text boxes around in that design window works pretty much the same way as it did for resizing and moving our square that we looked at earlier. Just always remember, you know you have an element selected if there's a purple box around it. Um, and you can rotate things with the little circle arrows icon, or you can drag something around the design window using this option here. So the little circle with the intersecting arrows going 4 different ways. Um, that's how you would move that around. Um, and changing the length of your text box or the width of your text box, you can do that again with those pills. So you can squeeze it in or make it smaller. Uh, Again, I think that's easiest to do on a computer using a mouse. I think you just have more control over the placement and the sizing that way. And uploading images, you can do that inside the design editor. Um, so notice this is again our left-hand side um, toolbar in our design editor. Uh, Down here underneath the brand option, you'll see a little cloud with an arrow in it. When you click on it, it kind of turns orange. This is the uploads feature. So if you click that uploads, this will take you to this window and show you all the either the pictures, the videos, or audio files that you've uploaded to your Canva account. What's really neat with this is I have the Canva app on my phone. If I have a picture on my phone, but I don't have it on my computer or the iPad, I can upload it in the Canva app on my phone and then open Canva back up on my computer and it pops up. Um, just be sure to make sure that it loads correctly. I know sometimes if you don't give it enough time to load and you click on it, when you add it to your design, it might be blurry. And if the upload fails, it'll notify you. It's pretty good about letting you know if there's an issue or if you're trying to maybe upload an unsupported file type. Um, but again, anything you upload will be found in this section here that you can access by clicking the uploads section, the cloud with the arrow. Um, and as always, if you want to add new files or upload files, we're always going to want to click the purple button that says upload files. So say you have several different elements on a design or several different things on a page and you want to group those together. Um, you can do that by, as this says, dragging, clicking and dragging your mouse over those elements on your design page. So you can see I've got, I've clicked and dragged across with my mouse so it makes this larger purple window. And then I can see underneath this, because it's transparent, I can see the purple outline around the 3 shapes. So that's how you know that you have all 3 of those selected. while you are clicking and dragging. And then when you let go with either your finger on the touchscreen or your click on the mouse, uh, it will look like this here on the right hand side of the screen. Um, and another little window will pop up right up above what you've selected. If you choose group from this little toolbar that comes up, then that groups all three of these elements together. So once you group elements on a page, you can move them around together. You can rotate them all at once, or make them smaller, larger, that kind of thing. It does that in unison, so that way you don't have to just individually resize each shape. And then if you want to ungroup something, just as simple as before, you can click anywhere in this box that's around the three outlined elements. Um, and your toolbar will come up again, and you'll see this option for ungroup. You can also get to this by um, right clicking with your mouse, um, and this second toolbar will come up with a whole bunch of other options. You can click ungroup from here as well. But that's all it takes to ungroup those elements in a design. It's just making sure that you highlight them and click ungroup if you want to do that. Say if you want to change the alignment of things on a page. So maybe I had these three shapes and I wanted them to be in the left-hand bottom side of my screen. I would again select them, get this align to page option, and um, then to be in the left-hand bottom side, I would choose left for um, this section of alignment, and then for my vertical alignment, I would choose bottom. And then that would automatically take these three elements and place them down here in the design. Um, there is a new option that I think has only been on Canva for the last several months, and it has quickly become my favorite. It's called the space evenly or the tidy up command. This has made my life a million times easier, um, because instead of having to individually align things, I can drag over them like before. Um, and then in my menu that pops up, choose space evenly. That's going to be always under that align elements option. So I would choose space evenly, and then I would have these options here. So notice I have my three shapes that started out like this, and when I click tidy up, it changes them this way. Um, Depending on the number of shapes or elements or text or whatever it is that you're trying to space evenly or tidy up on the design, that will depend on where Canva aligns those two or tries to space those out. Um, so it does what it thinks is best. Sometimes it gets it right, and sometimes it doesn't. So I have tried before to space things or use tidy up, and it would sort the elements evenly, but it was not what I necessarily had in mind, the way that I wanted them. So just be mindful of that. It is AI, and it's doing quite a lot of smart things, but it's not a mind reader and it's not perfect. So don't be discouraged if it doesn't immediately sort them or tidy those up in the way that you hope that it might. You can maybe try a different orientation or kind of change those yourself. And then say you want to delete something on a page, that's just as simple as making sure that you drag across, have all these highlighted, and then either hit the delete key on your keyboard or choose this little trash can button. Um, there is also a trash can up here. Does the same thing. It's the same delete button. You'll notice with Canva, if you haven't already, they have usually several different spaces to find the thing that you're looking for, whether that's in this little pop-up menu here or when you right click and pull up this larger menu. So you can get to what you need to do from several different spaces. I know these slides have a lot of words on them, but I'll get you guys a copy of these after the session today. So I tried to have some really detailed notes in these slides for when I give you guys a copy. That way, if you want to try some of these things out on your own, you're not just looking at screenshots with no other information. And moving right along, real quickly, we will touch on the undo button or reversing an action. So if you make a mistake, that's just as simple as either hitting the Control and the Z key on your keyboard at the same time, or in the blue top menu that comes up top, um, you hit the little back button. Um, it saves a lot of time. It's really simple. It's not the end of the world if you make a mistake. I do it all the time. Um, I feel like I am using the undo button um, pretty frequently, which is okay. That's what it's there for. That way you can, if you accidentally move something or accidentally change the color of something, you can just Control Z or hit your little back button and it takes you back to the step you were before. Um, and you can Control Z or use the back button, the arrow button, several different times. Let's see, we've got a question about printing. I will talk a little bit about that before we leave. So I'm going to come back to that question. I don't want us to run out of time because I've got a couple slides left. Copying an element, same thing. You can either use Control C and then copy. So if you copy something, hopefully you would Control C to then paste that element somewhere else. So when folks talk about copy paste, that's what they mean. You would have Control C and then Control V is paste. So be mindful of that. It's not Control P for paste. It is Control V. Or you can right click, get this menu to come up, and then hit paste. So our orange square we were looking at earlier, if I wanted to copy that and then paste it onto another page, um, I would just Control C for copy and Control V to paste that wherever I wanted it to go. Duplicating an element is just a little bit different. So if you duplicate something, it's going to make an exact copy of whatever you duplicated somewhere in the design that you're working in. So this is a little bit different than the copy paste. You could duplicate something and then copy it to paste, or you could drag, say I duplicated this graphic here, I would Control D or hit duplicate, and then I could drag it to another page in my editor. Um, that's just a different way or a different means to an end to kind of do something similar to copy paste. That way you don't have to necessarily make an entire shape again or write out text over and over. You can just copy it. So we had a question in the chat box about printing. I'm going to talk a little bit about this here. Also on this page. So when you get finished with the design and you're ready to save that or send it somewhere else, whether that's to post to social media, email it, whatever you need to do, in the far right of your design or editor window, you'll see this share button with the arrow and it says share. If you'll click on that, you'll get a drop down menu that looks like this. Um, there are several different file types that you can save to. Notice several of these are free, except for the SVG is a premium kind of file type that you can save to. Um, so you just pick whichever one that you want to save as, and then there's a download option that you can click on that will save it to your computer or to your phone. Um, so the question that we had asked, it says, I have used Canva some. Is there an easier way to print to my local printer other than downloading a PDF? So there should be an option, and it will be easier to show you rather this way. Right. So I'm not in my presenter mode anymore. I am just looking directly in the Canva editor um, at my design window. So when you click share, there's all these other options. And I thought at one time there wasn't an option in here that took it straight to the printer. And it looks like I'm not seeing it. This print with Canva option is different. If you click print with Canva, this will take you to a page where Canva will print that for you. Whether that's business cards or newsletters, any kind of printed graphics or printed media, Canva can make those for you and actually ship them to your house. So to answer that question of is there an easier way other than downloading a PDF, I'm not seeing it today, but that doesn't mean that it won't look that way for you. Because I think there was one at one point in time, but again, I've mentioned several times throughout this session, it looks a little bit different for everybody and they change all the time. So just because it's not there today, that may be a feature that they bring back or offer later. But if you just download it straight to your computer, and I'll show you again this way. So say I wanted to download this um, presentation, I would just download it. It'll look like this. And then once it saves it to your computer, then you can just print it as normal. That may not be ideal, um, but um, it works. Let's see. So while I'm here this way, um, I'll just show you quickly. So say you want to access your design again later. If you click over here, again, go back to your home button. This will take you to your recent designs that I talked about earlier. And again, this thing is different today than some of the screenshots that we looked at. The home button will take you back here. You can see your recent designs there. You can also see recent designs under this project tab. So I notice I've got a ton on here, but I use Canva for a ton of different things. And we'll go back into our slides. And bear with me, guys. I know we've run over a little bit, so if you need to hop off, feel free to do so. This is recorded, and we'll get this up on YouTube later, but feel free to stay if you need to. I'll continue to move through the rest of these slides and take any questions as we get them, because I figure we will have several good ones. Um, I wanted to touch just a little bit on that October 2024, that what they called the drop date. Um, a lot of the updates that came at the end of October. So Canva kind of reintroduced itself or reinvigorated kind of the look and feel of the website earlier this fall, and they added in a lot of AI features. Um, so there are several different AI features available now that weren't necessarily an option before. There's also a Dreamlab. That's a paid pro feature. So with Dreamlab, you can kind of type in um, whatever you want to see, and it will try to AI generate um, based on the responses that you give. Let's see. All right. Sorry, I had another thing pop up in our Q&A. There are, and I feel like we went through this really fast and I threw a lot at you guys. Um, so on top of these PowerPoint slides that I'll give everyone a copy of, there are also additional resources from Canva if you need to um, kind of see a video of someone walking through working in the editor or any of the tools or features. They have those under what they call the Canva Design School, and I will show you how to get to that. So going back into your home page, if you click here in the top right corner where your name is, all this drop down will come up, and design school is right here. So the Canva Design School has lots of options to choose from. They've got courses, there are certifications, tutorials, tons and tons and tons of stuff that are super, super helpful. If you have um, maybe something specific you're trying to get done and you can't figure out how to do it, or if you just want to brush up on your skills, that's available for you. And I will give you guys a chance now. If folks of you that are still on in the live session, if you have questions, or if there's anything that you want to see, now is kind of the time to ask those. And I'll be more than happy to kind of get back into the editor and show you anything that you'd like to see, or answer any other in-depth questions. But for those of you who don't have questions and you're ready to hop off, I will go ahead and put up our attendance and evaluation form. So for those of you who have watched a Daring to Learn session before, you know we have an evaluation survey at the end of every session. This forum gives you guys an opportunity to give us any feedback about the session, or share any additional information that you need with us. If you are a Tennessee producer and you're looking for Tennessee Ag Enhancement Program educational credit, the Daring to Learn webinar series does, there is TAEP application B educational credit associated with this webinar session. The catch with that is you have to watch 5 Daring to Learn sessions throughout 2024 and fill out an evaluation form for each of those 5 sessions. So this is the link to take you to that evaluation form. Feel free to fill that out. I'll also get you guys a link to this in the follow-up email that will go out. So you'll be able to get back to that at any time. One thing to note, since it is December and it's almost the end of the year, you have until December 31st to watch those 5 sessions and fill out those 5 evaluation forms to get credit for 2024. So have until December 31st, watch your webinars, fill out your evaluation forms. Then I will let the TAP coordinator know, and you'll be able to use that or list that educational credit on your application B form. That's for the producer diversification section of TAP. So I'll leave the screen up here for a second. We've got some questions I'll take a look at. Will this be emailed also? Amber asks. Yes. So I will email the link for the evaluation form will be in the follow-up email. The PowerPoint slides will be there. I'll also put in a link to that Canva design school for you guys as well. And I have another question from April that says, I seem to run into issues with Canva not allowing me to undo changes made under some of the screens. For example, when applying specific filters or effects to photos. All right, so we will take a look at that. So I'll go back up into here and we'll just make a blank one. So the tricky thing with that, we'll look at my uploads. So I've got a picture here of milk jugs. And April said she was having issues with undoing filters. So when you add a photo to your in your design window and you click this edit option here, you have to make sure that your picture is selected. So right now, when I click off of that, this background section is selected. When I click the picture, and I get my purple box around that photo. If I click edit, then there's filters and options. So I have clicked, let's add one where we can, or you can tell that's there. So we add in our filter and she says she's having trouble undoing that. So you should just be able to use your undo and your redo buttons to take those off. Now, if that doesn't work, you could delete the image and put it back in and make your edits again, or you should be able to go back into this edit section and there's an intensity option to change the intensity. You can also adjust things in the whole image. So it'll do some Photoshop type things in a pinch. Let's see. And I don't know, April, if that was helpful. If you're still having trouble, or if you have other questions, reach back out to me, and we'll see if we can figure it out. But you should always be able to just use that undo feature, and you may have to go back several times if you've added something several different times, or you added a filter. Say you added 4 filters on top of each other, you would have to undo 4 times to go back to that, if that makes sense. Okay. All right. So for those of you that are still with us, if anybody else has a question, feel free to let me know. If you raise your hand and if it's easier for you to speak, I can turn your audio on. That way you can actually ask it to me. Look at that. You guys are the bomb. All right, let's see. Got a hand raise. All right, Angel, I turned your sound on, so you should be able to unmute yourself now and ask a question if you meant to do that. You may not have meant to do that. Oh, okay. I see where she's at. Sorry. All right. Well, if nobody else has any questions, you guys are free to go. If you need that evaluation survey again, I can pop that back up. If not, I will send it to you all in the follow-up. So I'll get back out of here and I'll hang out for a couple minutes more. That way, if anyone's typing or they just haven't gotten it pulled up yet. But otherwise, for those of you that are still hanging on, you guys are good to go. Thank you guys.